Questions about YouTube's policies are being raised after a graphic video related to a murder case in Pennsylvania is left up for hours. And 3 people were killed and several more injured when a building collapsed near an airport in Idaho. The Morning Rundown starts now.
From the Straight Arrow News Studio, bringing the stories that matter to you from across the United States and around the world. This is the Morning Rundown.
Today is Thursday, February 1st. Thank you for joining us. I'm Lauren Taylor. This morning, YouTube's policies are being questioned after it was discovered that a graphic video involving a case of a son accused of beheading his father was left on the video sharing site for hours. Police in Pennsylvania charged 32-year-old Justin Moan on Wednesday with first-degree murder and abusing a corpse. Authorities saying Moan killed his father and then posted a graphic 14-minute video about the murder on YouTube, showing the severed head. Police say the video was uploaded about 10 p.m. Tuesday and remained online for anyone to see for about 5 hours. It was viewed more than 5,000 times before it was eventually taken down. A social media advocacy group telling the Associated Press this is another example of the blatant failure of these companies to protect us. Critics have accused YouTube and other social media platforms of not investing in their trust and safety teams. YouTube's policies were being put under the spotlight just as 5 social media CEOs were being questioned during a congressional hearing about child online safety. Representatives for YouTube and its parent company Google were not in attendance. YouTube has responded to the criticism, saying in a statement, YouTube has strict policies prohibiting graphic violence and violent extremism. The video was removed for violating our graphic violence policy, and Justin Moan's channel was terminated in line with our violent extremism policies. Our teams are closely tracking to remove any re-uploads of the video. YouTube says it uses a combination of artificial intelligence and human moderators to monitor its platform. As mentioned, CEOs from 5 social media companies testified at a congressional hearing concerning online child safety measures on Wednesday. CEOs from Meta, TikTok, X, Snapchat, and Discord answered questions from lawmakers about the role their platforms play in the lives of young users and how social media has led to children's suicides and exploitation. In one key moment in the hearing, Senator Josh Hawley asked Meta CEO Mark Zuckerberg if he had apologized to the victims and their families.
Let me ask you this. There's families of victims here today. Have you apologized to the victims? Would you like to do so now?
Well,
they're here. You're on national television. Would you like now to apologize to the victims who have been harmed by your product? Show them the pictures. Would you like to apologize for what you've done to these good people?
Zuckerberg then stood up and turned around to directly address the families.
No one should have to go through the things that your families have suffered. And this is why we invested so much and are going to continue doing industry-leading efforts to make sure that no one has to go through the types of things that your families have had to suffer.
It's not clear if the hearing will lead to any type of legislation, though lawmakers are working on bipartisan bills. You can find my full report on the hearing now on SAN.com. In a bipartisan vote Wednesday evening, the House overwhelmingly approved a $78 billion tax cut package, increasing the child tax credit for millions of lower-income families. The bill passed 357 to 70 and now moves on to the Senate. Along with expanding the child tax credit, the package also restores business tax breaks related to research and development. Speaker Mike Johnson called the bill important legislation, saying this was a good example of how Congress is supposed to make law. While Republicans and Democrats came together on the bill, not everyone got what they had hoped for. Several New York Republicans were looking for it to include state and local tax deduction limits. And while some Republicans say the bill expands the child tax credit too much, some Democrats say the bill did not expand it enough. 3 people were killed and at least 9 others were injured when a building under construction collapsed Wednesday night near the Boise, Idaho airport. The deadly incident occurred at a privately owned steel hangar on airport property. The fire chief calling the collapse catastrophic. Officials say 3 victims were pronounced dead at the scene. 5 of the injured were taken to the hospital in critical condition. Investigators say the building's collapse caused a crane to fall but did not impact the airport. The cause of the collapse is under investigation. A federal judge has thrown out the Walt Disney Company's lawsuit against Florida Governor Ron DeSantis. Disney sued DeSantis, saying its First Amendment rights were violated, alleging that DeSantis retaliated against the company after it criticized the Parental Rights and Education bill, which was dubbed by critics as the Don't Say Gay law. On Wednesday, a federal judge dismissed the case, ruling that Disney's allegations fail on merits. Disney claims that following its opposition to the bill, DeSantis retaliated by dissolving a special district in Orlando that governed Disney World for more than 50 years. Last year, Florida's Republican-controlled legislature made changes to the district, with its board members now selected by the governor. Disney has since canceled its plans to build a $1 billion office complex in Orlando. Disney says it will appeal the judge's ruling. Finally this morning, there's been an outpouring of support to replace a symbol honoring one of baseball's greats. On what would have been Jackie Robinson's 105th birthday, donations poured in Wednesday to replace a statue of the Baseball Hall of Famer who broke the Major League's color barrier back in 1947. The statue at a park in Kansas was stolen last week, vandals leaving only the feet, and then parts of the statue were later found burned and dismantled. One online fundraiser has raised more than $156,000, surpassing the statue's estimated $75,000 value. Major League Baseball has announced it will replace the statue and provide funding for a local youth baseball league called League 42, named after Robinson's uniform number. These are your top stories for this Thursday. Be sure to subscribe to the Morning Rundown newsletter to get the top stories each weekday morning. Just go to san.com/rundown to sign up. Unbiased, straight facts, that's Straight Arrow News. We'll see you back here tomorrow. Until then, I'm Lauren Taylor. Have a great day.